What if I told you the calmest person in the room is also the most dangerous? Not the loudest, not the strongest, but the one who doesn't flinch. Ninjas knew this centuries ago, and their secret might just change how you handle every confrontation in your life. In this channel, we break down ancient warrior psychology and translate it into tools you can use in modern life. Today, you're about to learn something powerful. Unlike the samurai, ninjas didn't seek glory on the battlefield. They didn't fight to prove their strength. They thrived in the shadows, unreadable, untouchable, emotionally invisible. Their greatest advantage? They never let emotion control their mind. So here's the real question. How do you respond when someone insults you, challenges you, or pushes your buttons? Do you react? Or do you remain calm, like a ninja watching from the darkness? In this video, I'll show you the 4-step system ninjas use to stay calm under pressure, and how you can apply it to arguments, confrontations, and even high-stakes negotiations. By the end, you won't just handle stress better, you'll have the upper hand in any conflict without even raising your voice. The first skill every ninja had to master wasn't a weapon, it was their own mind. When most people think of a ninja, they imagine acrobatics, stealth, or maybe throwing stars. But none of that mattered if the mind wasn't calm. True ninjas trained to remain emotionally detached, even in life or death situations. This wasn't coldness, it was control. Think about the last time someone triggered you, maybe an insult, a betrayal, or just someone cutting you off in traffic. Your body reacted instantly: tension, heat, anger. That automatic reaction, that's the enemy. It hijacks your focus, narrows your thinking, and makes you predictable. Ninjas had a way around this. They trained in what could be called the shadow perspective, the ability to watch emotions without becoming them, to see their feelings as shadows passing on the wall, not as their identity. Modern psychology calls this emotional labeling. Instead of saying, "I am angry," you say, "I notice I'm feeling anger." That tiny shift, from being the emotion to observing it, changes everything. It activates the rational part of your brain and helps you return to calm faster. Now, you might be thinking, but what if I can't help it? What if the emotion takes over before I can stop it? That's normal. Even elite ninjas didn't control emotions by force. They used awareness, not suppression. There's an old ninja teaching that says, "He who becomes the flame burns first." Reactivity is fire. It consumes. But awareness is water. It adapts, flows, and puts out the fire without effort. One exercise the ninjas used to train this mindset was observing nature in silence. Watching clouds pass overhead or leaves rustle in the wind, they learned to see their thoughts and feelings the same way: temporary, changing, not worth clinging to. Modern neuroscience backs this up. Studies show that simply naming an emotion activates the brain's prefrontal cortex, your rational center, and dampens the amygdala, your threat detector. This allows you to regain control faster than if you tried to push the feeling away. You're not weak for feeling anger. You're only vulnerable if you let it drive your actions blindly. Imagine you're in a heated argument and someone hurls a personal insult. Instead of firing back, you pause. And in that pause, you observe, there is anger here. You don't act on it. You don't deny it. You acknowledge it and let it pass. To develop this shadow perspective, start small. Next time you're irritated by a comment, a delay, a rude message, practice naming the feeling. I notice irritation. Then breathe. Just once. That's your first step into the mental shadows. Once a ninja had mastered emotional detachment, they moved on to the next layer of mental control: foresight. In ancient texts, ninjas spoke of reading intent before action, of seeing the move before it happened. They didn't have supernatural powers. What they had was a deep understanding of human behavior. People follow patterns. When someone feels threatened, they react in predictable ways. Raise your voice, and most people either argue or shut down. Criticize someone publicly, and their ego leaps to defend itself. These aren't random reactions. They're programs running in the background. Ninjas studied these patterns like maps. Infiltrating enemy territory wasn't just physical, it was psychological. They could anticipate how someone would react before a word was even spoken. Modern science calls this anticipatory awareness. It's the same principle chess masters use, not guessing the future, but recognizing what's most likely to happen based on what they've seen before. You can train this too. Before any potentially tense interaction, Ask yourself 3 simple questions. What emotional state is this person likely in? What do they truly want from this situation? What are the 3 most likely ways they could react? Let's say you're walking into a meeting with a difficult client. If you know they hate delays, you can predict their impatience if the project's behind schedule. Or maybe you're about to confront a friend about something personal. If they usually avoid conflict, odds are they'll deflect or change the subject. By mapping these possibilities ahead of time, you reduce emotional shock. You stop being surprised, and that means you stay calm. FBI hostage negotiators use this principle in high-stakes situations. They build psychological profiles, analyze past behavior, and predict responses. Not to manipulate, but to remain unshaken when things escalate. The ninja's goal wasn't domination, it was survival through mastery of perception. They didn't need to control others, just anticipate them. This foresight doesn't require hours of meditation, it just requires mindfulness. The more you reflect on how people tend to behave under stress, the more precise your mental maps become. Think about social media. Someone posts a controversial opinion, and within seconds, thousands of people respond in ways that are entirely predictable. Defensiveness, outrage, sarcasm, tribal loyalty. It's a storm of reactivity, and almost none of it is strategic. There's a line from an old ninja manual: predict the fall of the leaf by watching the wind. They didn't wait for problems to explode. They read the signs before the signs became obvious. When you practice this, you don't become manipulative, you become adaptive. People will see you as composed, intuitive, even wise. But it's not magic, it's just mental preparation. And when others are overwhelmed, you'll feel like you've already been there, because, mentally, you have. Even the most emotionally detached ninja with the sharpest foresight could still fall, if they lost control of their breath. Breathing was more than survival. It was a weapon, a tool for stillness under pressure, and perhaps the most underrated skill in any confrontation. In ancient ninja training, students were taught to blend into nature, not just physically, but physiologically. That meant controlling their heart rate, silencing their breath, and syncing with their surroundings, because a calm breath meant a calm mind. Modern science confirms this. Shallow, fast breathing triggers your sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response. Your muscles tighten, your thinking narrows, your reactions spike. But slow, deep breathing does the opposite. It signals safety. It tells your body you are in control. One of the simplest and most effective techniques used by modern-day special forces and therapists alike is a controlled breath cycle. In through the nose for 4 seconds, hold for 1, then out through the mouth for 6 seconds. This is known as silent breath. You don't need a meditation cushion or a yoga mat. You can use it in real time, during an argument, in a meeting, before sending a heated message. Just one breath can interrupt the storm. And there's power in that interruption. The breath is the bridge between your body and your mind. When someone provokes you, they want your reaction. They want to pull you into their emotional chaos. But if you can breathe, really breathe, you remain in control. The ninja knew this instinctively. There are even accounts of warriors using breath patterns to slow their heart rate before assassinations, missions, or combat. They were still, unreadable, in complete command of themselves. This is not about controlling every breath all day long. It's about knowing when to return to your center. The breath is always with you, and that means calm is always available. When others escalate, your breath becomes your shield, your reset button. And in that breath, silent, unnoticed, you become untouchable. The final piece of the ninja's calm wasn't silence, it was purpose. You can detach from emotion, you can anticipate conflict, you can breathe through chaos. But without direction, all of that control is just potential energy. What turns it into power is purpose. Ninjas never acted randomly. Every movement served the mission. Every decision was aligned with a greater goal. Even in confrontation, they didn't react emotionally. They acted strategically, always asking, what outcome serves the mission? This mindset is what separates calm from passivity. It's not about staying neutral, it's about choosing your battles and aiming your energy. In modern life, many confrontations spiral because people forget their purpose. They get caught up in winning the argument, proving a point, defending their ego. And that's when the conversation breaks down. So here's the shift. Before any confrontation, define your objective in one clear sentence. What do I want to accomplish in this interaction, and why does it matter? Not what you want to say, not how you want to feel, what you want to achieve. Let's say a coworker disrespects your time. Your emotional instinct might be to lash out, but your purpose might be, I want to establish boundaries so this doesn't happen again. That changes everything. Now your actions serve a goal, not a feeling. Or maybe you're arguing with a partner. Instead of fighting to be right, your purpose becomes, I want us to feel heard so we can rebuild trust. You're still in the conversation, but you're guiding it from intention, not emotion. Ninjas didn't suppress emotion, they used it. But they used it like a blade, drawn only when needed and always with intent. Purpose is your internal compass. When you're clear on it, everything else aligns, your tone, your words, your body language. And others feel that clarity. It diffuses conflict, it shifts energy, it creates respect. This principle transforms confrontations into something entirely different. Instead of a battle for dominance, it becomes a path toward resolution, or, at the very least, a test of clarity. Sometimes your purpose might be to walk away. Other times, it might be to speak a truth that's uncomfortable but necessary. Either way, you're not being pulled by feelings, you're being pushed by principle. And here's the unexpected benefit. The more you practice purpose-driven action, the more respect you earn. People feel it. They may not agree with you, but they'll sense you're not just reacting, you're operating from a deeper place. When that happens, you stop being just another participant in the conflict. You become the anchor. And that changes everything. Now you know what the ninja truly mastered, not just stealth or combat, but calm. In a world where most people react instantly to stress, insult, or pressure, you now have something different, something rare, a system, emotional detachment, predictive foresight, breath control, purposeful action. These aren't just tactics, they're skills that make you powerful without ever needing to raise your voice. The kind of power that doesn't shout, it doesn't need to. And the irony? The more you practice these techniques, the fewer confrontations you'll even need to enter. Because when you stop reacting automatically, most conflicts dissolve on their own. People can't escalate what you won't fuel. There's a calm that looks weak, and there's a calm that terrifies. The ninja lived in the second kind. So next time you feel tension rising, in a conversation, a meeting, or a moment of stress, remember, you don't need to dominate. You don't need to react. You just need to stay rooted in your system. Let them swing. Let them shout. You'll still be breathing. Because you're not just calm, you're trained. And if you found this video valuable, consider subscribing and liking. We're just getting started.